Welcome to the Extraordinary Lovers Podcast. My name is Michael Gibson, and I am so excited that you're here today because I have somebody that I want to introduce you to, and she is an incredibly magical human being. I think you are going to absolutely love her. Before I give you her name, let me just say something about her. She is a paradigm shifter. She's an author and a speaker and an actor. And she is a sexual healing advocate. She works in women's intimacy and she's a women's intimacy and empowerment coach. She is a truly beautiful person in my life who I get to share space with on a regular basis and programs that we're doing together. And I would like you to welcome and I would like to introduce you to the lovely Veronica Clark. Hi, Veronica.
Oh, thank you. Such a beautiful introduction.
Well, I'm really happy to have you here. I'm so excited to be able to introduce you to our family and to the Extraordinary Lovers side of things, if you will.
Yeah, to be here.
That's great. Well, so not very many people may know you from our program. However, in the other programs that we're in, you are a person who is with renown, right? Like you're one of those people that we love to hear you speak. We love to hear your beautiful, like just the view and ways and things that you create and craft inside of the sex and happiness journey, and also inside of the sex and happiness. Yes, you got the book. Thank you.
I love this book.
That's amazing. Yeah, what I would like to do is I would like you to share a little bit about yourself. Really introduce us to yourself. Tell us a little bit about what your passions are and how you got into this work.
I love that you just said that word, like your passions, and like something welled up inside of my body when you said that. And my passions are truly to experience joy and the simplicity of life, like just the joy of freedom from being bogged down with all like the past and the shadows and like pain and all that stuff like that. So like really choosing to experience and joy and joy being a little different from happiness in my mind, but just like really just joy that can always just be there in spite of whatever's happening. So that is my passion, and I love to find ways to create more of that, like through my teaching and through teaching yoga or meditation, through helping people to process through their own traumas, their own pain, so that they can find joy, and like being helping to be a light in the darkness. I just want to be there and play. And if we go into the dark, awesome. I know that we're gonna be able to shine the light there too. So those are the kind of things that get me excited. I feel passionate about, and I feel like bubble up from me like a bottle of champagne. It's just like this effervescence that I'm just like, I just want more of that. Like it just feels good and it feels natural. So I love that.
Well, and I mean, you come from somewhere. You're not, you didn't just appear on the planet yesterday. So
I do. I come from somewhere.
Yeah, give us a little bit of your background. Like, where do you come from? And tell us a little bit how you got into this world, into this community of love and success and sexual pleasure and sacred sexuality. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many different starting points. So I'm gonna try to compress this. And where I came from initially was from a really broken and violent, sexually traumatic like home. There's a lot of sexual trauma in my life from the very, very beginning. And that was like a regular everyday way of living for me, unfortunately, until I was about 17 years old, and lived in California for the majority of my young life, my adolescent life. I moved here for a little while to Arizona. I live in Arizona right now. I moved here when I was about 14 and stayed here for a couple of years. Was starting to kind of like dabble in some drugs and just really confused, promiscuous, really lost, and then ended up going back to California, and I stayed out there for another couple of years. Again, just a lot more a lot more just sexual abuse and more drugs and just a lot of pain, some homelessness. Dropped out of school for a while. My whole like junior year, I got like a half a credit. So was out of school, and something happened that was beautiful, and I'll share that for another time. But I ended up getting on a Greyhound bus. I was 17 years old. I had a like pair of sandals on and some shorts and a tank top and a backpack. That's all that I could take
Wow.
with me of all my belongings. That's all I had. And I got on a Greyhound bus and made it back out here to Arizona. So um yeah, so that's kind of like the beginning part. And then there's some other parts that became a lot, I've always been a hard worker. I think that part of like my experience and growing up is I always knew like how to survive. And so surviving wasn't difficult for me because I knew how to do that, right? And I was communicative and I knew how to smile. And so I started when I turned 18, I I got a job. I borrowed money to buy some shoes so I could go be a hostess at a restaurant. You know, the guy's like, I'm going to hire you, but you can't wear those shoes, you know. And actually, I was still 17 at that point when that happened. But
Wow.
anyways, by the time I worked, I slept on people's couches. I had a brown, you know, hefty garbage bag that I would just take my stuff from place to place. There were times where I would just, you know, I'd just sleep on different people's floors. At one point, I even like knocked on, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I had nowhere to go. And I saw like an open garage. And I was like, hey, can I help you guys, you know, do stuff? And I'm sure that there might've been tweakers or something. Thank goodness nothing ever happened to me at that time. Like they were just kind, they probably just saw like I just needed some help. And, you know, so that they let me sleep there on their couch. And the next day I left and nothing happened to me. I feel like my angels were with me for sure. I had a turn of fate. Like I had something happen. I ended up getting 2 jobs. Like I said, I was always a hard worker. So got another job and a woman hired me. She just liked my work ethic and she wanted me to come work for her at the bank. And I was 19 when that happened and I changed my whole life, changed everything in my life, the whole direction.
Wow.
I got married pretty shortly after that, started buying properties and so forth. And financially, everything in my life changed. And then fast forward to like 2008, I was having a massive breakdown. And that was because what was happening is there was just a big collapse of everything financially that everyone around the country was experiencing, you know, and what was happening was just I was having a breakdown because all of a sudden I built up this persona, this idea of who I was, and my success meant it was equivalent to my worth. And when I had no more success and no more properties and no more marriage, and I didn't know who I was. And so it was really a beautiful thing for that to happen, because during that time I was also pretty sexually repressed. I was creatively repressed. Like there was just, I wasn't alive. Like I wasn't alive. I was functioning and I was doing things, but the aliveness, the quality of that wasn't really there. And I didn't understand that either. So, so the most beautiful thing happened was I just had like a nervous breakdown, and it was like it turned out to be a breakthrough. You know, like I had a breakdown, and it was so perfect because everything crumbled from there. The old me had to crumble and it had to die, like, and it really felt like a death.
Yeah.
And there were parts of me that did die, and that, again, that's a whole nother story. But what came out of that was a desire to live in this life with joy and freedom and expression, and to live in my truth. And I had not been doing that before. It was like a pseudo life. And so I embarked on a journey. Like I embarked on my hero's journey. Like bottom line, like I was just like, I'm being initiated into life now in a whole nother way. And the old shit that I was doing before isn't going to work, even when I tried to like bring that with me, you know? So it was beautiful. Got a divorce, had a beautiful experience with different lovers that helped to grow me and to bring me to this place that I am in now. And in like, let's say 2017, I started, actually like 2013, I started exploring Tantra. because I was super curious.
Yeah.
And I was like, and just like some experiences with my lover at that time, and it was a longtime partner of 7 years. We had stumbled onto Tantra without even realizing what it was. And I started to understand the word because I actually found out about Tantra during my Kundalini yoga teacher training, which was incredible because Kundalini yoga is actually based on white Tantra. So it was like, oh, I've been practicing Tantra, and now that opened up a whole different pathway for me to like really start learning and to start exploring it, and bringing even more depth to some of the practices that my partner Eugene at that time were experiencing. So
Wow.
yeah, I know that was a lot there, but yeah.
No, I mean it's an important thing to acknowledge the fact that oftentimes those who go through some of the most difficult breakdowns in life, oftentimes the breakthroughs are magnificent in that life. And then what really is so amazing is how that it shapes the future of a culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you actually are part of this culture change that is happening right now before our very eyes. And it's like this old Jewish saying, you were born for such a time as this. It's like you were born for such a time as this. And that feels amazing. Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah, it really was beautiful. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm really excited about some of the projects that you're working on right now. And one of the projects that I recently saw you on, I just you're now an actor as well. Yeah. Tell us about this. What's happening?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Oh my God. This goes back to me just finding my bliss and finding my joy. I have always wanted to act, always. And so at the end of 2019, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go and act. I'm just going to go do this thing. And I have a girlfriend who is signed with an agent, and she invited me to a holiday party and introduced me to, one of the owners. And I went in there, and as soon as I walked in, he says, "Are you an actress?" And I was like, "Well, of course I am."
Of course you are.
Yeah. And it was so fun. And they like signed me so quickly. And it was really, really cool experience. And I feel like what's most fun about acting is I feel like I get to expand my reach. I just get to meet more people. And even on my actor's profile, it says that I am an international sex and intimacy coach.
Right.
So I want people to know that this is what I do, because acting is just for fun. That's not for my life.
Right.
Like just for joy, like more pleasure. Like why not go play? What at all more access to more people who I to perhaps shed a little bit of light. Maybe they'll look at my website. Maybe they'll come to one of my retreats or my workshops, or come to join us in Sex and Happiness, and join us on that journey.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it all comes back to this play and joy and pleasure, and leading a life and creating a life that is robust and that feeds us and fuels us. I don't want to do anything that I don't really want to do. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to put any energy into anything I don't want to do. Nothing.
Yeah. I feel you. So, I mean, I have this saying that there's, and I stole it from a former love, and it goes like this, there's only two reasons I do anything, and that's because I want to and I can.
Yeah, right? I like that. I like that. Yes, I love that. Oh my God.
Well,
yes, I want to, and I
exactly. And I want to kind of turn a corner here, because some of the work that you've done that's preparing you for the work that you're now doing, has been very important. And the work that you're now doing, you are on faculty with the Sex and Happiness journey, and with Lori Handlers, and she's literally creating an empire. And this is a movement
Yeah.
that is designed to do exactly
Yes.
what you just said, which is to create a life of joy and pleasure, and that it's substantial. It matters to people.
Yes.
Right. So this work that you're doing, and we're so excited. I'm so
Yes, it
excited
does.
that I get to be on this team with you. That the work that we're doing now with the Sex and
Yeah.
Happiness journey, we'll just mention it a little bit here, but the Sex and Happiness journey was birthed out of a book. The book, hold up the book. You have it.
Yeah.
It's Sex and
Right here.
Happiness.
This is mhm.
It's Sex and Happiness, the Tantric Laws of Intimacy. And I would love for you to share with us what drew you to this movement, what draws you to this work. And also, if you would, share a little bit about how this particular, I don't want to just say the book, but the practices and this just new culture that's arising. How has it changed your life?
Thank you. For one, I want to speak to what drew me to this. And I had the benefit of and the joy of meeting Lori when we were in Iceland, and we were there for level 2 ISTA. And ISTA was just absolutely incredible. But from that, having this opportunity to sit and to meet Lori and to talk with her, just talk with her as women, as two souls on this planet. It was incredible to actually have dialogue and to start to feel into the depth of who she is and the wisdom that she carries. And so that was the first thing. It was like, she's a teacher in this world, and there's many teachers, there's many people who also claim to be teachers, but to have the felt experience of her was something important for me. And so as the years progressed, and as we've continued to build relationship and to continue to be in spaces together and in different workshops and different things like that, my admiration for her continued to grow, so that I could really again see that value and feel the guidance. And Lori has continued to be an inspiration in my life because of she's no bullshit. Like, she's real. She is like, and what I strive in myself also to be is to be free of stuff that's like untrue. Like, it's just nice to have a model of that. So anyways, I just have my personal appreciation, and I'm grateful for that. On the other hand, I also really love what she's creating in the world, in the Sex and Happiness journey, and the work that she has put into laying the foundation in a very simplified, straight to the point way, so that it is digestible for people who are ready to start shifting their life.
Yes.
Like people want to shift their life. People say they want to shift their life, they want to do the things, but sometimes they just don't know how to, they don't have the right tools, those kinds of things. So what helps me to get on board, and what brought me on board, was like, this makes sense. Look at this. This is not a really thick book. This is not a big manual. This is not a whole bunch of ego and like, do all of this. I'm not pontificating about all of these things that I know. Like, this is right down to the basics, easy to read and understand. And that's where that's where a lot of people live. We need to be able to offer it in that way. And so the book makes sense to me. The woman makes sense to me. And then this other container of like being able to now break down the chapters and actually have practices that are in this container, so that people can like say, oh my God, let me work this shit out right now, because I'm getting ready to have this super uncomfortable conversation with my partner, and I don't know how to do that. This isn't where we've been before. Now you get to practice it right here in a safe space, and you get more context, and you build up more like confidence and more like security in self, so that you can go back out into the world and live and feel like a little more like secure and safe and capable, because you've created it for yourself and
Yeah.
you're not expecting other people to create it for you.
Wow.
And that's what this does. That's what this does. Here's one thing else I wanted to share about this, because this says sex and happiness, and it's like, yes, it's sex and happiness, like you can have better sex and be happy in that. And this is about sexuality, which is like the impetus for creation, right? And understanding how to be able to harness our sexuality so that we can create the life and the love and the experiences in this lifetime. So it's like this piece right here, the sex, the sexuality, which the self,
Right.
and that is part of this, right? And then there's the happiness. This all applies to like life. This is not just about, it's, yeah, it can be amazing. Maybe you're gonna make love and it's like just mind blowing, and you're seeing all kinds of like rainforest and you're seeing all that stuff. And also maybe you're taking this too into the boardroom, and you're taking it out into the conversations that you're having with your children, and you're having, you're making better eye contact with the people in the grocery store, and you're not like, pretending like we're not all here together. It changes the way that we interact with each other as humans. I think that is the critical piece here.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is also what's so important about joining a cohort, a group of other people who are desiring to sharpen themselves. Because fire, right? Like that fire, that purification, getting in here and getting uncomfortable, getting really fucking uncomfortable. And then like being like, I'm uncomfortable and I don't like this, and maybe I don't want to participate anymore because this isn't what I thought it would, whatever. Good, that's exactly. Stay, because you're getting sharpened now, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's
I like that.
It's all about, and the pressure and everything else, like all the analogies that we can use. It takes pressure to create a diamond. It takes fire to purify gold. It takes iron to sharpen iron. These are the things that in life, if you don't have them, you may find yourself of weak character. Correct? So you don't want to have that. And this book is now a full like 10-week program that takes each section and distills it down to the very simple. And I had a conversation with Brianna and Johnny a little while ago where we were talking about this very thing. And one of the things that they mentioned was, it's lovely how simple this is, where anybody who has no idea what Tantra is about could read this book and really get the nuggets of what Tantra is, and said in a way that only a New York girl, like a girl from Brooklyn, could deliver it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. I was just thinking as you were speaking, like, we started the sex and happiness journey.
I'm gonna go get my book. I'll be right back.
Okay, go get it. I love it. Yes, I just opened up the page and then I just opened it like right to this, like this beautiful breathing. I was like, first page. But so what's really interesting is that we started this journey, and this level 2, or the not the level 2, but the part 2. This is the second course. We're going to start the third. We're teaching the third here in December. Yep. But we started this, and at the same time, I entered into a new relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I shared before that during this time of after I left my partner Eugene in 2017, I chose to just have a practice of my own inner intimacy and my own inner marriage, and really working on myself, and then also practicing in part celibacy, and then having some lovers when I chose to, and I wanted that experience, and then going back to celibacy. And it's been really amazing. And so at the same time that we started this journey, I entered into a new relationship. And it is so incredible that, relationship really does help you to grow and to see the parts of yourself. Or for me, I'll speak for myself. It's been amazing to be able to see the parts of myself that still need some healing, still haven't been heard. I get to see the parts of me that have been healed and get to like really celebrate that and be in that and live in that and love it. And so this book, there's like a couple of chapters in here that I read a couple of times, and one of them is like the mirror of your beloved, and like these reflections, right? And I'm like, "Rah, what is this?" And then also like the speaking your truth, like every single one of these things in here. I mean, from emotional release and speaking your truth and please yourself and all of these things, these tantric laws. I am grateful to have this as a resource. Like, it's not new to me. However, I'm using it in a different way. I'm applying this information in a different way. And therefore it becomes even more rich, right? So at the various stages of my life, at one point, this was relevant because it was like, oh, cool, I am going to do this one of these days. Or oh, I get to do this, not in a partnership, but I get to do it in this moment, in this experience with this lover that I'm choosing to have. Or I get to, speak my truth and encourage my children to speak their truth and teach them tools of emotional release, right? Like there's all of these different ways that I can apply this. And so to now have the opportunity to apply this along with a new relationship, it's totally different. It's like it's almost brand new.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. And then this part, oh, okay. And stay present with this.
Yeah.
And oh, how much am I actually projecting? And and where's the mirror back for me?
Right.
It is the Lottie Han, right?
And I got to tell you, for me, that chapter, the mirror, is the one that was the biggest challenge for me, and still is to this day, because and when you read the book, I assume everybody listening will have this book eventually.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and you can get it on Amazon. But and no kidding, this book really truly is like, I mark it up. I don't know if you can see the markings, but like I've got little tabs in there.
Yeah.
This is a book that I have consumed, and I honestly I've read a library of books because I'm a nerd. But this book has definitely been one of the biggest transformational tomes. And like you said, it's not very thick, but it has been a transformational tome for my life. And to those listening, those viewing right now, if it's before December 1st, 2020, December 1st, 2020, the next journey starts. And I just want to put this in there because I think it's important. We've already passed the early bird special time, but they still have a few seats left. And so if you're hearing this right now, you want to go to lorihandlers.com and look for the workshop. It's called Sex and Happiness Journey, and it'll be journey number 3. We've had 75 people already go through the program. Very exciting. And so we would love to have you join us.
And you get to see our faces in there because we're co-facilitating this. So
yeah. and all I can say is it is absolutely a pleasure to be working alongside you, working with you. You're my sister. You're my ISTA sister. We're a tribe, all the things. And I love you. And we're going to wrap this up. One thing that I want to make sure that people have access is to you. And so if you would, please, and I'll make sure that I put this in the show notes, and you'll have this information. But if you would like to get in community with Veronica, please go to veronicalclark.com. Lynn is spelled Lynn, veronicalclark.com. And you can find her on social media. Instagram, she's Veronica L. Clark. I highly recommend her. She is a dear sister to me. I absolutely adore you. And I want everybody to get to know you and to really be able to benefit from your light, because you bring so much to this world.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. I just want to soak that right here into my heart. Feels so good. Yeah, thank you. And I just want to give a shout out also for Body Temple, which is it's an incredible body of work that I have been able to birth. And Body Temple is a sensuality training for women. And I have a virtual school, so we're doing things virtually. And then in 2021, I'll be resuming the in-person Body Temple courses. And it really is it is just such a beautiful place to be able to come and really explore touch and sensuality, and to be able to shift and move from anything that is blocking women from really accessing their sexuality in multiple ways, be able to use it to just create the life that they love, and also to attract and to bring in the love that they desire for themselves. So that is also on my website, or you can go directly to IamBodyTemple.com. IamBodyTemple.com. So
Awesome. Thank you
yeah.
so much. And we'll make sure we put that in the show notes as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's such a pleasure to be here. Extraordinary lovers, go be extraordinary lovers. Go make love. Go do it all.
Do all the
Thank
things.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
well, listen, thank you so much for joining us today. We really had a great time having this amazing conversation, and more to come. So we will see you the next time on Extraordinary Lovers Podcast. You can find us at sextalkradionetwork.com. And thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.